In 2002, I knew they were going to take David Carr in October. David was their guy, and they never considered anybody else.
I remember him being the consensus choice, but it was between him and Julius Peppers. I just always questioned, if you're going to make the quarterback the face of your franchise, how do you do that with having any protection for him? Because that poor kid took a beating.
I don't think his work ethic was great from a quarterback standpoint, but the confidence and some of the arm strength, I didn't think he had zip on the ball quite like he had when he came in.
Remember the third year, they were 7-9. He threw for 3,500 yards. Then they changed everything on him, and then he went straight down the tubes. His problems, he didn't work hard. He wanted to be a great father, a great husband, and a great son more than he wanted to be a great quarterback.
You know, 06, from a radio standpoint, we were all in love with Reggie Bush, the highlights, Reggie Bush. But here comes Texas with this undefeated team, and then Vince continues to make big plays late in games. All of a sudden, the very next day on the radio, it's like, Vince or Reggie, Vince. It got nasty, it got personal between the Vince versus Reggie people.
Vince Young, that would have been a horrible pick for the Texans for the reason that Vince had 14 called running plays for him at Texas. I mean, he'd make one read and then Vince Young would take off. One of the greatest college football performance you'll ever see. But you run 14 plays with your quarterback in the NFL, have some very good team doctors.
I knew they weren't going to take Vince. The reason they'd hired Gary was to try to resuscitate Carr because Charlie didn't want another bust on his resume, and McNair loved David Carr. I was at an NFL meeting. I'd been to a party. We'd had a few pops. I was at the hotel. I get a call from Casserly, and he said, thought you'd want to know, we're seriously considering Mario Williams. And I said, give me a break. So I stagger up to my room. I type up something, send it in, told all of us, bury this, there's nothing
Stagger
to
up
it.
to the room. That sounds familiar. We've been there before.
I thought it was going to be Bush till I was in New York the night before, and I get a text, we've agreed with Mario. Come back from the break and I tell Rich Lord, well, Rich, I think I'm changing my mind. They need a pass rusher. I'm switching to Mario Williams. Really? You've been saying Bush for months. I said, yeah, but they're desperate for a pass rusher. I'm going to Mario.
You were all in.
Well, there you hear it first. John McClain's going to Mario Williams, and an hour later they announced it.
Go back to that 2006 draft.
Yeah.
Is there anybody there you would have taken over Mario, even in hindsight?
You couldn't have. Not in hindsight. I mean, yeah, I would take Haloti Ngata over Mario in hindsight if I knew everything, but there was no way the Texans, that he was ever
Nobody
in consideration.
clearly has dominated. You look back and say, man, I had to have that guy over Mario. Mario's averaged 9.5 sacks in his career. If he hadn't been hurt 2 of those years, he'd been in double figures.